as individuals, we are, we are one person, and we know that I am this person, I have this character trait, and this is something that I do, and this is something how I behave. But when you play a character, and it's, say, for example, completely opposite of who you are as an individual, how do you sort of prepare yourself? How do you mold yourself in that character? कि यार ये तो मैं हूँ नहीं. For example, innately you are a patient person, and on screen you are playing a restless guy. कि यार पानी चाहिए, यार ये पौधा ऐसा क्यों है, ये ऐसा क्यों है. You're being very restless about it. How do you prepare yourself in that case? Is it very difficult to prepare that way? Because innately, the kind of person you are, maybe it all boils down to your childhood also, I believe.
Yes, of course. So many things are, in fact, we are not aware. Sometimes I think it's harder to play yourself, when, like, for example, I'm just digressing slightly, जो currently हमारी film चल रही है, Fairy Folk, it's an improvised film. So,
by the way, I very honestly, I've not watched the film yet,
no problem.
But I've heard it from a lot of my close friends that what are you doing in life? Why are you not watching this film?
It's playing till tomorrow. Go see it.
I will watch it tonight itself, sir.
So
anyway,
anyway, but it's an improvised film. Sorry, I'm digressing, but I'll tell you for a reason.
Yeah,
it's an improvised film. So what we decided was, and what Karan, who directed the film and wrote this idea out, कि we won't play characters who are very different from us. Because अगर आप improvise कर रहे हो पूरी film में, it's very hard to improvise as somebody who you are not. Right? If you're playing a character and you follow a script and you do it for 6, 7, 8 episodes, like for example, Jagdeep Chadda in The Office, after 7, 8 episodes of shooting, then one has got into that zone that you can start improvising lines as that character because it's coming more naturally. But from the beginning, it's much harder, right? So you tend to keep something to yourself. But he started off with these, she said, why don't you be yourself? Why don't we say the character's name is only Mukul and you just be yourself? And I said, this is a very hard thing to do. Because we are also not aware. I just got this thought came because of what you're saying. We are not aware of who we are entirely. Your friends or your spouse will tell you better कि आप ऐसे हो, आप इतने restless हो. We are not as aware of ourselves. So sometimes it's easier to play a character who's a little different because you have something to hold on to. And even in this film, one decided to play a slightly off me. Where you keep things similar is manner of speaking, way you walk, the rhythm, basic body rhythm, वो सब हम नहीं कर रहे हैं उस पे काम. Because if you're going to work on that also, you have to do it for a long time to be comfortable and then improvise. And also what happens is when you're acting, I find when there is a very heightened emotional point, we tend to revert to being who we are. Right? It's much easier when you're saying a line which is not. But when something gets into a more heightened emotion, we have a tendency to revert to who we are. Like if you're getting an angry scene.
इसको थोड़ा सा depth में ले लो. Like what do you mean that there is a heightened scene?
Suppose
you tend to come back to your original self.
So give me an example. I give example. Suppose there is a scene जहाँ पे suddenly you discover a dead body. I'm taking a very very heightened situation.
Okay.
Right? Now you want to react as naturally as you can to as a character
right.
To that, right? Now your reactions are not measured, following lines necessarily. You are, panicking and reacting to things as they turn out. There is a tendency, I feel. So when you say yourself, a lot of your body language, a lot of your rhythm, a lot of way you speak can revert to yourself. So it takes a lot more work than if you're playing a character to kind of, you have to keep doing that over and over again ताकि वो ज़हन में आ जाए, ताकि you're not, So I think in terms of when you were asking the other question, I'm just jumping back and forth in the sense कि जब आप किसी और character का कुछ कर रहे हो, I think it is important, I feel, for example, जब lines हैं, you learn your lines by heart and learn them flat, don't learn them कि मैं ऐसे बोलूँगा, learn them flat so that कि अगर मैं नींद में किसने मुझे जगा दिया and say your lines after this line, it will come out, right? So that is not something in the scene you have to think कि मेरी line क्या होने वाली है. That is already there. It is like वो कानेमन की किताब है ना, thinking fast and slow.
Yeah.
It is involuntary response. It is not that you are thinking मेरी line क्या है. So then if the character has a certain way of walking, if the character has a certain rhythm, if the character has certain takya kalams or certain mannerisms, those as much as you get done and doing, those are coming natural. So if you're walking in a certain way, you have to do that several times over. So that in the scene you're not thinking, Acha, I'm going to walk, this character has a limp. I'm taking a very simple example. So now I have to focus on limping in this way. Because if you're focusing on that, the person who is that character is not actually focusing on walking that way. It comes naturally to them.
Right.
Then you're not reacting naturally to what your co-actor is saying or what the director is throwing at you with a circumstance. So I think it's important to put that work in to, build these things as much as you can. And this is my point. If you haven't worked on creating that character physically, mannerisms, वगैरह, in a heightened scenario like dead body आ गई, oh my god, surprise कि किसी ने बहू कर दिया, you will tend to go back to being who you are as the person. And that's a trap to try and avoid.